Hello. First, want to thank you for your time and the opportunity to speak with you very briefly in regards to this week's assignment, um, speaking and designing a 15-minute asynchronous training session uh, to present a skill. I've chosen to focus on the review of a topic that I feel is very important contemporarily in regard to organization and its function. Uh, Quite specifically, a large organization uh, and what they do with the information and data that they receive um, to not only structure their business, but to forecast and make decisions. Uh, Now, in the past 10 years, I've worked for three organizations which utilized information management systems where multiple departments would have access to that information for the before mentioned purposes. So I find contemporarily it very important for an employee who is going to be using and engaging with those systems to understand its function and its worth. So I do want to thank you for joining me and hope we have a informative session. Thank you. Find it very imperative to first define um, what are information systems and their import contemporarily in organization. Uh, Once again, reiterating that in the past decade, I've worked on a corporate level for three different organizations who utilized information systems to power their initiatives. So when we think of information systems, we think of a system with multiple interrelated components used to collect, process, save, and share information that support organizational processes. So, what that means is that there is a point where information is created. Let's say, for example, a transaction where we have to the far left, they put people. So that interaction requires noting some sort of quantification of what happened for the organization's database to move forward with information. So that information is then made data. Uh, that data is then input in some sort of software. Now, contemporarily, uh, the usage of relationship management tools are very contemporarily used regularly. There are systems like Salesforce, who is championing those management systems where interactions with clients or customers can be quantified and information can be extrapolated from there. So, that is an example of a software that may be used as a relationship management for information systems. Another may be a organization's proprietary uh, information database. So that database may be used in correlation with a relationship management tool. And those will be the softwares in which information is stored and shared. And then to the far right, we have hardware, where, as you see right now, I'm on a laptop. They organizations may choose to give an employee a computer or a cell phone, in which that information too can be accessed by the employee. Why are information systems so important? Quite frankly, storing information in a database simplifies access. It allows the information ubiquitous access uh, for the organizational stakeholders um, to utilize and add to. So, segueing back to what we said before, information gathered can be placed in this database and accessed uh, for organizational initiatives. Now, this is very important in a large organization with multiple departments that seek to attain a similar initiative. For example, in healthcare, the behavioral health department uh, has the idea of fulfilling adequate care, and so does the managed long term care department. So, those are two different departments seeking to uh, reconcile an ideal, and in doing so, run across quite a bit of information, transactions with clients, information that is input into this database, which requires that ubiquitous access cross organizationally. Now, the model that I've chosen of the matrix organization design showcases five different departments in three different projects. And I think here is where we find where that simplification of access is important. Um, as we look at the model, the HR department on the far left only has stake in project A and B, but they are within the realm of the information database access for the information's uses. Um, Once again, circling back to the model, the finance department has stake in all three projects. So uh, making their requirement for access to the information of import. Now, regardless of import or requirement, the information is there um, for ubiquitous access. As we see the IT department as the third depicted department that has stake in only project A and B, they too are still within the realm of not only charged with storing this information, but the ability to utilize it for their business purposes as they add on to the organization as a whole. The same can be said by the marketing department, who, as you can see, only has one project that they are working on, which requires them access to the database, but still uh, no less than any of the other departments' access to that information. Continuing on with systems information, we look at the pyramid in the model for that information structure as we see both ascending and descending worth on the decision side and information system usage uh, in ascension and descent on the right. Now, the pyramid serves as a two-prong view of what information systems are and their overall components. As we look to the far left, uh, the information descending is structured, which is usually, pardon me, attached to operational management, right? Transactions. Uh, so let's say like field staff, getting information for usage for strategic management. Um, and why I say that is as we continue on to the far left, from structured information to semi structured information, you see the rise in decision power. The information still remains in the hub, but semi structured information, for example, seems to be with tactical management and business units and self directed teams, but completely unstructured for executives, for example, who take this information and extrapolate what they feel would be best for the business in decision making, uh, descending to operational initiatives like transactions between patients, for example, or customers, that is structured and outside the realm of autonomy, quite frankly. Now, if you look to the right, the information system usage um, definitely echoes what I just said previously in regards to power and the way information is used organizationally. Now, on the far right, when it comes to operational management, on the descended portion, you see transaction processing system. Once again, we spoke about regular uh, ground level employees uh, who are forced to adhere uh, to the organizational structures um, that are decided by upper management. So that's why on the right, the management information system is shown in its usage as far as which level the employee lies. Uh, Concluding to the far top right, decision support system. These are executives and decision makers saying, I have this information and this is what I see from it. And these are the initiatives that are going to be best for the organization. Continuing on with different types of information input for the cumulative information system, we look at transaction processing systems, right? Which is viewed as a ground level initiative system where information is gathered. Information system that manages data created on everyday transactions, like purchases for a store or sales, employee data, and cliental transactions. Uh, Now, the model chosen is one of sale, but it looks like a point of service or transaction, right? And I want to utilize this model to solidify uh, transaction processing systems and its integration into the overall information system database, right? So to the far left, we have a box of cornflakes. Now, it doesn't have to be a box of cornflakes. It could be whatever initiative your organization is seeking to achieve. For a healthcare company, it's healthcare. Maybe they have a managed care plan. For a sales department, it may be the sale of their goods and services. Uh, in any event, there's a business event or a transaction. Uh, Now, that information is processed. The engagement, uh, any outlying factors that may require looking into in the future, notes, or as the model shows us, detailed reports, right? Which is segued or connected to this transaction processing system. So, in layman, um, the interaction between the client or the transaction is then processed into the system, right? Detailed with outcomes, and that information adds to the organization's database. Now, to the far right, we have the database where it says FAIS, or Functional Area Information Systems. Um, Also, DSS, Decision Support System. This can all be extrapolated from the database, and its usage stems from its birth at the transaction. So that's why transactional processing of information is important for decision making later. This information is stored and quantified and then is used once again on the far right for the four enumerated initiatives, right? Expert systems, uh, trainers who are going to be training employees based off the information provided by the organization's database, uh, business intelligence, forecast that can be uh, gathered from the information input in the organization's database. um, Decision support system, executives who are going to make decisions based off the information provided in the database, which is all cumulative from multiple transactions. Continuing on with information systems, we review management information systems, or MIS. And I think in here we find the duality of information systems and their usage. As where previously stated, transactionally natured interactions by an organization will be input for later usage. Management information systems seek to use this information for different purposes. Segueing back to the model that was utilized in matrix organization, expression, and multiple departments requirement for information access in utilizing a database. Now, management information system takes a different approach into how the information is used. Now, managers may seek different definition from transactions. For example, the employee or the line staff is focused on adherence. The manager's job is to review that adherence to organizational initiatives, policies, and procedures. So the information is viewed uh, through a feedback lens, so to speak, not only for employee training, but staff development. Moreover, to concrete as a spokesperson, so to say, for the organization and authorized decision maker, management information systems seeks to take that very information and see how the employee uh, performed in that transaction, as opposed to where the employee is seeking to optimize the transaction uh, for optimal appraisal. In conclusion, contemporarily living in the environment or world of technology and thus information, it's very important, if not vital, for an organization to amass robust and rich information for usage, um, not only for organizational initiatives, but achievement of their goals. Incumbent and stakeholder alike must understand the contemporary usage of information systems if they are to engage and be effective members of the contemporary workplace. I do want to thank you so much for your time. I hope this training video was informative and wish you all the very best. Take care.